have the ideal builders starting lineup for tonight's opponent, Fort Wayne FC. Number 1, Ern Shipman. Number 4, Number 6, J.G. Jordan. Number 7, Lillian Rico. Number 8, Jeremy Garra. Number 10, Clarence Aldo. Number 11, Tay Hugh. Number 12, Canary Hero. Number 13, Michael Wentworth. Number 19, Juan Solis. And number 21, Ryan Fisher. Fort Wayne FC is tried by Mike Gainbridge. And now, the ideal builders starting on for your Fort Madison
Teams have taken the field here at Bree Stevens Field in Madison, Wisconsin. Forward Madison, Fort Wayne, for the first time ever, they meet in USL League One. Let's meet the starting lineups, and no, your eyes do not deceive you. Those are new cow kits. They just dropped today, celebrating June Dairy Month for Forward Madison.
Head coach Matt Glazer has gotten his team a lot more comfortable in this 3-4-3 rotation. Strict positionally early on, now freedom of rotation. But within that rotation, they have to be careful centrally tonight, making sure that the 210s and Gubu and Gebhardt, when they drop to receive and they start to open themselves up, that they still maintain defensive discipline. That is where this game is going to be won or lost for Forward Madison. Transitioning, not a problem. Keeping tight lines is where it's going to be successful for them. Because Mike Avery, Fort Wayne FC, and their 4-2-3-1 love to control possession within the middle of the park. Take Healy, Awudor, and Jeremy Gray down underneath. Those three, it's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of touches on the ball. This team has some of the best patience in League One. But when it doesn't go their way and they have to open the game up, that's where they have to be very careful, making sure that when they go direct, they keep the group together. They've just started to feel more comfortable in that area, but defensively, it could expose them.
Curious how this young Fort Wayne lineup does tonight under head coach Mike Avery. 6th season as the head coach of Fort Wayne. He was in charge when they were in USL League Two and made the move with them into League One. He's been dedicated to playing a young team. Their starting goalkeeper, Bern Shipman, over 30. Everybody else 25 or younger in the 11 tonight. Matt Glazer's back there for Forward Madison. After some news this week within the league of Darren Sawatsky departing the Richmond Kickers, Matt Glazer now tied for the longest tenured coach in the league. It happened, it feels like, overnight, and he feels this team has the juice to go and earn some hardware for the first time for Forward Madison. There's Tig Healy, leading man for Fort Wayne. 6 goals, leading the charge for the visitors tonight. They are right to left in the yellow. And it is Forward Madison in their brand new alternate kits honoring Dairy Month. Left to right, away we go in Madison. Since they came into the league in the inaugural season in 2019, Forward Madison have enjoyed one of the best environments and best home field advantages in USL League One. Will that rattle this young Fort Wayne team this evening? Playing at home hasn't been the norm for Madison. 2 home games, 2 wins. The schedule worked out. They were on the road a ton early. 70% of the rest of their games are here at home where they've been dominant. J.C. Griggs, the referee in charge tonight. Kanyane throws it long. Flipped all the way back to JT Harms. Thiago Diaz on the day of his 25th birthday rolls it back to Bernd Shipman. Shipman called the last 3 years home in Madison. We'll go over to Fort Wayne this season, one of the few veteran pieces for Fort Wayne. Awudor muscled off the ball. McCamey, Kanyane. Rolled into space. Derek Gebhard. Gebhard's been their focal point up top ever since 2021. 32 goals in all competitions for Forward Madison entering tonight. Roman Torres. Favorable bounce through. McCamey. Kanyane rolls it back. McCamey feeds it in front, deflected and cleared off the line by Rempel.
And the biggest question for both managers was who's going to be the most aggressive in the early portions of this match, and the expectation was that it would be the home team, Forward Madison. And while it's just a few minutes in, that's exactly what we've gotten. Colin McCamey coming off the back line. Love his stretch off that initial three, starts to overload the midfield. You can release numbers into the attacking third. These little tweaks to Matt Glazer's system throughout the course of the season starting to pay dividends for the Mingos.
JC Griggs keeping an eye on things in front of Bernd Shipman. Torres overcooks the corner, out of play. Let's take a look at tonight's injury report brought to you by Tiger Bomb. You'll have to see it. Nothing officially reported from either of these teams. There are certainly players ailing who didn't make the 18, but nothing officially reported. From one end to the other now for Fort Wayne. Floated toward Rico, lines it up. Shot for handball, unanswered. Awudor slipped through, Rempel blocked, corner the other way for Fort Wayne. Back and forth we go.
A good response here for Fort Wayne. Absorbing pressure for the opening 2 minutes and now starting to fight back a little bit. And the evolution of Mike Avery's team is going to be about getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. For a team that lives and dies by being on the ball the majority of the match, finding success off of it, opening the game up, being a little bit more direct when the opportunities present themselves is how they're going to separate themselves from the rest of the bunch in League One.
You can hear the crowd already into it, serenading Fort Wayne before this corner, whipped in by Awudor. Comes all the way out for Rempel. He'd like that one back. That one is halfway to Wauwatosa.
And while I recognize that's a location you just established for us, you start throwing around big words like that. It's going to be a long broadcast if you think I'm going to follow.
Hey, our producer is a proud member of the Wisconsin family, so anytime you can sprinkle in something for him, he's going to be a happy camper. Over the head, Ngubu stepping up as Juan Solis. He is clutching his face. Tell you what, it takes a lot to hit him in the face. He's 6'8", so something clearly got up there and nipped him. It looks on our side monitor here like he was kicked in the face accidentally by Ryan Carmichael. Take a closer look. To be fair, the 6'8" center back did lean down into that. Carmichael went up for it. Walks away okay. I mean, 6'8's even tall for you.
It's not often I find myself looking up at someone.
Speak for yourself.
It is one of those gray areas, though, for any player on the field, certainly a center back, where you step up in and because of that massive fight, he's still about waist level. Some referees would call that the opposite direction.
A late offside flag came up on the initial free kick in. Michael Rempel has been active early on. The save off the line defensively, earned a corner at the other end for Fort Wayne. From Asuncion, Paraguay, 24-year-old, started every game on the back line for Fort Wayne. Solis here defending, a lot of contact. Referee J.C. Griggs says play on. Bolma. Finding a way through. Distance pulled wide. Active early on, Bolma.
It's not often that you see Fort Wayne allow a gap open up right through the heart of their midfield. Clever on the touch by Bolma to split the midfield. And you know, the question of what that's going to look like for Mike Avery, the great thing that he has about this group is flexibility within the midfield. Players like Awudo who can drop down into the pocket but also explode out onto the flank. A Betcher who can play up high but is comfortable back to goal and link up play with Tague Healy. But within that flexibility, you have to retain discipline so you don't overexpose too much space on the inside.
Here is Healy playing a terrific ball through. Puts that back line under some duress, and another corner for Fort Wayne in the early going. Kerfala Torre defending Kabiru Gafar. Kerfala Torre new for Forward Madison in the starting lineup, his second start. Injuries created an opportunity. Coming off his first regular season start against Boise and scored in their 5-1 win. Getting a start again on that back line. Tague Healy all alone, bottom of your picture, top of the box. More than capable of having a go from there. 6 goals this season. Terrific collegiate career at New Hampshire and then NC State. Scored in the College Cup final back in December. Corner toward goal. Traffic in front of JT Arms, but he punches clear. Here's Healy. Tague Healy turns, brought down, looking for a foul call, didn't get it. Madison tries to break out, to no avail. Healy tried to keep it going, the run stopped. Thiago Dias, a really interesting conversation with Mike Avery about Tague Healy, a player who's certainly not shy on confidence, but needed to have an honest conversation. He was a bit down about not getting drafted and being overlooked from MLS coming into this year. Very honest conversation between Mike Avery and Tague Healy. Put the ego aside, what do you need to get better at? And one of the key things was finding a way in the press. And what's that turned into? 3 of his 6 goals this season have come from the press. And he's, by their metrics, top 3 in the league in ball recoveries in the attacking half.
But all starting from where you alluded to, getting over the ego portion of it. And that's a difficult thing for a player to find balance within, because you want a player who's got confidence, that carries an ego within their game, but that one that doesn't also let it trump their overall performance. Tague Healy's never been that type of guy. He's certainly a teamwork first player, but when you get knocked down, you don't go to MLS, you don't get a sniff from the championship. You've got to find a way to work back in.
Throw from a long way out off the post. Ryan Betcher putting some fear in the heart of JT Arms, but it remains scoreless.
Eliminate some of the issues that people think you had, and instead maintain the identity of being a chance creator. He did a good job rotating back out here, and then Awudor who catches the trailing run. This is exactly what I was talking about with Ryan Betcher, how he can play high but also come down underneath, and the midfield from Forward Madison just loses him. A ton of space, good technique. Unfortunate he doesn't create the opener.
Has 1 goal this season, making his 7th appearance, 6th start. And back for Shipman. Betcher, in his first full season signed to USL League One, came on loan last year to Union Omaha in late June, scored 8 goals in 18 games. Long run for McCamey to get there. Back for JT Harms. Harms puts it out to touch. points separating these teams in the standings coming in. Fort Wayne just above the playoff line. Forward Madison just below the playoff line. 8 teams making the postseason this year. An expanded USL League One saw 5 new teams come in this 2026 season. Fort Wayne among them. Forward Madison, one of the old guard, 2019 original. Uludor driving through, still Uludor. Ubu brought down, finds the feet of Carmichael. Ryan Carmichael switches. Kenny Kanyane, that's a whistle back behind the play. Ends the budding threat for Forward Madison.
It's a bit puzzling as to why the referee is pulling the whistle here. Good side-to-side movement from Forward Madison. Slight change within the midfield for Fort Wayne. Jeremy Gray almost man-marking in the midfield in that single pivot, but it's also released more numbers in front of that Fort Wayne midfield to be aggressive, start to challenge more transitionally.
Space to be had out in front to Carmichael. Foot race. Carmichael wins it, cutting it, brought down. Is this a foul? Is this a red? Is this play on? J.C. Griggs says play on. Wow. Crowd is letting him hear it. We'll show you a look when we have an opportunity as play continues. To the naked eye, I thought foul. I thought red card. I thought complete complexion change in this game. Instead, we continue on. Remember that moment as Healy feeds it through and Harms has it.
Exactly what head coach Matt Glazer would want, where you stay deep and then start to press the opposite direction with pace. I don't know how that's not a red. Arms in from behind, clips his heel as well. Now, important to note, this would be outside of the box, but direction of play to goal, proximity of defenders, the list goes on and on. You meet all the pillars of denial of a goal scoring opportunity in that situation. That should have been a whistle, a foul, a straight red, and right now Fort Wayne very lucky that they're not down to 10. That's the argument you're getting from head coach Matt Glazer.
Matt Glazer did just pick up a yellow. Oh, he might be getting more. Yeah, he might be gone. So Matt Glazer picks up a red card. You can't blame him. You can't blame him. Simply put, you can't blame him. He is getting his money's worth on this sending off. Important to note, there is no VAR here in USL League One, so the call that was made is the call that stands. Matt Glazer is headed for an early shower. It should have been Thiago Diaz headed for an early shower. And a very intelligent crowd, great fan base here in Madison. They know the sport, and they are on their coach's side here.
He's not wrong. Head coach Matt Glazer is a tactician. He's a player's coach with such great relatability that carries a lot of emotion within his actions, and that's what he's exhibiting now. I don't blame him here. Dominant position by the striker. The defender, and Thiago, is in from behind, arms up over the top, clips his foot as well. No one else in the area is going to be able to get there. It is going to be a goal-scoring opportunity. It should have been a red, and instead, Forward Madison now without their faithful leader.
Important next few minutes here for both teams. Can Forward Madison settle down from the emotions? Can Fort Wayne maybe capitalize on that and strike, take a lead on the road?
And to be clear, I'd like to think we've had the good fortune of working together. You may view it a different way.
I view it the same.
But we've been on a ton of matches where you and I can hypothesize about ways that decisions are made, why a referee might see something compared to what has actually been blown on the field and vice versa. That is as pretty straightforward as it could be. Correct me?
100%. Quickly the other way now for Madison.
So now, if you're forward Madison, you've had some good moments. There is what feels like an energetic change here because your manager has been thrown out. What you don't want is to let that trump your overall performance. That's where you've got leaders on the field to settle things down. A Kevin Carmichael on the back line, a Derek Gebhardt on the attacking front where the more stoic nature starts to come out. Otherwise, this Fort Wayne team with the ball at their feet, they can dismantle you quite rapidly.
Looking down at the technical area, it's Patrick Nyarko who stepped up now as the acting head coach the rest of the evening. And with a lot of MLS experience, over 200 appearances in the league, almost a decade of that with the Chicago Fire. Also capped one time for Ghana back in 2012. So he was a happy camper earlier. 90+5, Ghana wins it over Panama in the World Cup. So he goes from that to now the acting head coach the rest of the evening for forward Madison. Rempel, just beyond Udor. Trio of former collegiate teammates from last season out there on the field tonight. Clarence Udor, Julian Recall, and Odell Ngubu. First two on the Fort Wayne side, the last of the trio. Manning the top of the line for forward Madison. All three of them for UCF last season. Terrific attacking trio. Helped them to their first Sun Belt title. Called each of their three names this evening in prominent roles as almost fouled.
What's interesting about the lineup for Fort Wayne isn't the personnel out there. It's more so how they're over pivoting on this right-hand flank, trying to get JP Jordan a little bit higher. Kabiru Ghaffar into the attack. And what it's also done, though, is taken pressure off of Kevin Carmichael from forward Madison. That's why you're seeing really quick spells of possession off the back three for the home team. The quicker they release it also, you cause more rotation defensively for Fort Wayne. Gives them less time to react, and the hope is that to open up the game and find these seams to operate through.
Mike Avery looking on, the last head coach standing for now this evening. Torres balloons one for Segbers. Segbers, the elder statesman on the back line for forward Madison. Long ball over the top, out of play. Team build is similar between these two teams as far as experience and age. On the Madison side, you've got a pair of 30-year-olds, Mark Segbers on the back line, Derek Gebhardt on the front line. Everybody else, 25 or less. Fort Wayne, Burn Shipman in goal, 31. Everybody else, 25 or younger. Fort Madison hadn't always been that way. They'd always been one of the more veteran-laden teams in the league. Very possession-based team. Completely shifted the way they think this year. Fort Wayne established an identity in USL 2. They were going to play the young guys, stick to it. They feel there's a way to win while also playing the young guys and giving them a platform. Stuck to their guns in the move from USL League 2 to USL League 1, and it is paying off so far.
I give Fort Wayne a ton of credit for that. You jump levels and go from the amateur to professional ranks. A lot of organizations would veer away from how they found success at a different level competitively. If anything, Fort Wayne have upped it a notch. They said, no, we're not going to get away from that hometown mentality. We're still going to give opportunities to young players, and they've sprinkled in additions that feel like they can be immediate impacts, but also long-term representatives of the club that maybe they're not here that long. Take Healy, a good representative of that. Jamie Garay and a resurgence of his career within the midfield.
The exact phrasing from Mike Avery. He hopes that Tate Healy's not here long. He wants him to go on to the next level as quickly as possible.
And the proving ground of development, which also, to be fair, is some of the identity that forward Madison is chasing under Matt Glazer and Matt Carenson. You know, trading experience for youth, but also the ability to mold, to adapt. That's something, adaptability is a buzzword around this team right now, and to be a little bit more flexible within their actions and not so demanding of each individual position, and instead great responsible freedom. That's where results have started to turn for them, and they've become more effective going forward.
Going forward now through Gebhard, right down the middle. Gebhard at last touch, heavy, tripped up a bit. Getting to a point, quite frankly, here in the 22nd minute where I'm not really sure what a foul is tonight, and I wonder if the players feel the same way. Down at the other end, recall went down, edge of the area for Fort Wayne. It seemed to be clear-cut. Wasn't a ton there, but enough. He got clipped.
Well, it's not only the clip. The first part is gamesmanship on the little tug with the arm, which, okay, maybe you get away with it there, but the fact that you also create, albeit slight, contact on the lower extremity. It certainly hasn't been the kindest of starts 22 minutes in for either one of these teams, and most notably the lack of dismissal for the center back in Tiago, and instead head coach Matt Glazer from forward Madison sent packing.
Advantage played here by J.C. Griggs. Recall.
Nice
Into
ball.
the area, Tate Healy curling it. Weaker foot, put it wide.
And really nicely done though by Tate Healy, and the understanding of where he needs to be the impact player is going to give him a jump to the next level. 18 months ago, he's crashed in the box, and instead, he recognizes how compressed this back line has been. So Tate Healy holds his run off. He delays it, and that patience allows him all the space atop the 18 to then attack going forward. Form falters at the tail end of it. Leaning back, doesn't get enough power through the strike, but a really nice build for Fort Wayne back to front.
I say a weaker foot in that moment as the yellow is shown. Healy in the thick of it again. Falatore picks up the yellow in that moment. Back to that Healy chance. I say weaker foot, but with an asterisk. He scored with that right foot in the College Cup final, tied at 2 late on last year. Certainly capable as Torrey comes through and earns that yellow.
The problem for Tate Healy is the left foot is so wondrous in nature. The weak asterisk has to fall on one side, right?
Free kick dropped in over the top, headed square, traffic in front, and out for a corner.
That's nicely done in the near post by Ryan Carmichael. Well done by the striker. It's quickly become all hands on deck for this forward Madison team that defensively much more stout. They do not concede a lot of chances within their matches overall anymore. Statistically has started to favor them, and the discipline paying off on the opposite end as well.
All the bodies around JT Harms. Tough to navigate. In swinger toward that back post. Harms finds a way through and punches clear. Udor wins it back. Udor pushed from behind. Foul called. Another free kick coming for Fort Wayne.
I think he's compounded.
He's been a menace early on, Clarence Udor. He's floated quite nicely on this left side, willing to play in the overall build. Nice press as they start to release into the final 30 yards. And within that, Mark Segbers, Kevin Carmichael, Josh Bolma at times really struggling with communication and trying to pick up the attacker.
Rempol's free kick, dangerous ball. Cast aside, and Gebhard lets it out for a throw. Rempol has heard a lot of the whooping bird noises for his corners, for his free kicks. We'll get to that when we have an opportunity. A lot of you may be passing along Forward Madison for the first time, wondering why a flamingo is the logo for a team in Madison, Wisconsin. Solis tries to flick it on. Healy finds a way through the box, and that one gives us a chance to explain why. 1979, class prank, University of Wisconsin-Madison. They put 1,008 pink plastic flamingos on an area of campus. 30 years later, local journalists, to commemorate that, lobbied to have the official city bird be a plastic pink flamingo. Politicians obliged. So it is written, so it is done. And Forward Madison, to honor that, the flamingos. So that's why flamingos in Madison, Wisconsin.
Well, certainly inventive. I would make the argument that a real class president would have seen GoFundMe in the future and chased live birds.
Absolutely.
Instead of plastic, but hey, who am I to judge? Flamingo.
So that is the nexus of the whooping flamingo calls on the corners, on the free kicks. That's why you're wearing cow jerseys with a flamingo on it. Carmichael eyeing goal. Carmichael squares it back in front. There it is! Joshua Bolma puts Forward Madison on top.
As the identity of this Forward Madison group continues to evolve, Matt Glazer, head coach, very clear that it is about flexibility and being able to adapt. But as they open the game up, still being willing to commit with real confidence going forward. And this is venomous in nature. Just a long goal kick, the rotation off the initial ball. When you win the second, the trailing run back across, you could see it from a mile away. Great touch by Ryan Carmichael as he drags this play to the outside, opens the gap with inside the top of the 18. And the adaptability of Bolma to spring right through the middle. Keep himself up over the top of the ball and create the opener is why Forward Madison have become so dominant in the attacking third.
Bolma, one of those players for Forward Madison, a reclamation project, somehow fell through the cracks and was a trialist this past preseason. Former number 4 pick in MLS. Only ever made 4 appearances for the New England Revolution first team after they drafted him. Spent his time, this one's whistled dead, spent his time with their second team. Then he moved to Houston with the second team. Never really found his footing. Very different the situation now in Madison. It's only his second start, 9th appearance overall. He's played as a wingback. He's played as a driving force in the heart of the midfield. He's played on the front line of 3. He's very versatile. Matt Glazer loves that about him, and they feel this is the spot, the situation where they can get the best out of Joshua Bolma.
Unfortunately for many a player in the American soccer pyramid right now, it's a story that's all too frequent. You get lost in translation by your top flight club, and then they don't want to lose you, but they're not willing to retain your services at the highest level, so you lack identity. And then you start to lack confidence as your experience starts to be pushed by the wayside. Right on cue, Josh Bolma is starting to play at a much higher level because confidence being reinstilled for a guy that was the talk of the town just a few short seasons ago, coming out of Division I college soccer in this country. The adaptability that we referenced within the system. This team scored 3 goals in their first 4 matches. They have 9 in their previous 4 coming into tonight. Just the utter willingness to be a little bit more defensively sound, get uncomfortable off the ball, and then be more direct and commit numbers going forward.
Is that utter willingness or utter, UDDER, willingness?
Yeah, well done.
Okay.
Put a kid in your hands, you're right there.
Half an hour gone. Madison 1, Fort Wayne nothing. Glad to have you with us on ESPN2. Alongside the ex-German pro Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. They've been so stout defensively. Madison, give them a lead, see what they can do. Only 12 goals conceded this season. Flag stays down, now it comes up a bit delayed. Back to the point you're making before about Bolma, it's interesting. From where this league began in 2019, when Forward Madison was one of the founding members, to where it is now, it's incredible the way that the talent pool has risen. It's a knock-on effect. Talent has risen in MLS, talent has risen in USL Championship, talent has risen in League One as a result of this. To see a player of his caliber, and you go up and down the roster, a lot of players like him. We could see Steven Anwar later off the bench. A lot of players like that who are college standouts, who are MLS castoffs who are now here in League One. This was unheard of a few years ago in the first few seasons of this league.
And the most important thing is you don't look at it from a negative viewpoint, and instead opportunistic in nature. As a player, as an organization, right? That you now have an opportunity to reinvent yourself. If you're Jamie Gray for Fort Wayne, you have a chance to create a new identity for Josh Bulma for Forward Madison. The idea that you fall flat out of the gates doesn't mean that you can't then become the front runner, right? We are so willing to knock people down, and instead we should be looking the opposite direction to build them back up, because there is a wide talent pool around this country just willing to be picked apart.
Perfect example, looking at the U.S. men's national team at the World Cup. Different position, obviously, as a goalkeeper, but Matt Turner, a player who didn't have any pathway forward collegiately, ended up at Fairfield, was a backup. From there, finds his way into an MLS roster as a third string, becomes a starter at the 2022 World Cup, and was in a battle this year with Matt Freese for the starting job for the U.S. once again. Played for the Richmond Kickers in his time in the USL. So a player who used USL as a pathway, just found a way, found an opportunity, and parlayed that into a starting role in a World Cup. Also went to my high school, Matt Turner. Just missed each other. He graduated right before I started as a freshman. I played one alumni game with him.
He did it on purpose.
Carmichael from a long way out, saved by Shipman. It stung him. Did well to fight it off.
Well, now if you're head coach Mike Avery of Fort Wayne, you're telling your team that you need to condense your lines here because they're trying to chase the game up high and apply pressure. That's great to extend that narrative within your group, but as you're doing it, your concession of space is causing a problem. So instead, I would restrict those ideas. Bring these three different levels together. You're removing the ability for Forward Madison to play through the middle. You also prohibit that front three from getting the game head on, because what we're seeing now over the last 5 minutes, Gebhardt, Carmichael, and Ngubu, a lot more opportunities 30 yards and in. Tighten the game up defensively. That's going to allow you more control on the ball, and then give your team an opportunity to be more creative going forward.
You say tighten the game up defensively. Might be time to tighten this game up with the whistle. It's starting to get interesting, and the teams are getting frustrated. We always talk about it, Devin. All you ask for is consistency, and that really hasn't been the theme from J.C. Griggs so far. And it's odd because he is one of the more respected and experienced referees under the USL umbrella. Looking long for Ngubu. Shipman has it. 3 caps for the Philippines. Bernd Shipman, 32 in a few weeks. Originally from Germany, dual national for the Philippines. Recall. Scoops one through, good ball at the back post. It split the difference between Gaffar and Betcher.
Better overall, though. And again, when we talk about control, that's not just with the ball at your feet, it's also about space. The rotation out here by Lilian Ricol is perfect. More importantly, it's the resurgence of bodies into the top of the box. You push right through the first wave. Betcher then starts to get himself into this 6. We haven't seen this look yet. When the rotation has come to the near touchline, they've lacked a presence up high, or they don't have the ability to support each other in the attack. That's a better build from Fort Wayne.
Yet to register a shot on target, Fort Wayne. 5 shots total. Ngubu. Cheeky flick on. Ball up. Take a deflection, it did. Corner coming for Madison.
All corner kicks are sponsored by Canopy Wealth Management.
Solly's there defensively, the 21-year-old from Colombia. Started his career at Real Cartagena and Real Santander. 22 appearances in Colombia's second tier last year before coming over this way to Fort Wayne. Scouted far and wide, Mike Avery's group, finding this talent. Got players from Panama, Colombia, the college ranks. We have an Arsenal Youth Academy product we might see in the second half in Daniel Oyatunde. Now the corner from Madison to the back post. Udor got there first. Bulma keeps it alive, floats it back post. McKenna stays out, off the bar and away, volleyed back through. Finds Bulma once again. Header to the back post, knotted down by Ngubu. Oh, helter-skelter defensively. Udor finally allows him to take a breath, but just one. Ngubu with it again. Slipped, slick surface after the rain. McKemmy. Good ball in, body still there for forward Madison after the corner. Bulma regathers again. Bulma overran it, fighting back, fouls Rimple. Solis found Udor. He's not happy with the weight of that ball. He had plenty of space to create in the pocket. Poor ball off the back line from Solis. Good vision, poor execution. Torres. Gebhard, Carmichael, back to Gebhard, goes for a goal. Inventive. Oh, I hope that did not hit a plate of food. It looked close.
Sounded more like the balcony sign.
Couldn't tell if it was a tray or if it was one of the chairs that it hit. Had a weird pinging echo to it.
I'm surprised in the build right here, given the amount of pressure like that.
Torres, Gebhard, laid it off for Carmichael, but behind him. Some better execution in this first half. Madison could be up a pair. Opportunities have been there. Gafar. Recall. Black stayed down. Tig Haley settles it. Comes back out for Betcher.
Well, the good news for Fort Wayne is they're doing a really good job of committing numbers going forward. And Betcher has done well within that space that started to pop up on the inside. I'd like to see him build deeper next to Jeremy Garay. Too much pressure on the lone six. So yes, he's releasing up high, but it's too counter-attacking in nature. They need to be more sound defensively. You bring Betcher down underneath, it gives more support starting to play through the middle. And then you can also create more one-on-ones on the outside, or if you play direct up over the top. Instead, they're relying way too much on luck right now and space being gifted to them.
Udor takes the space, finds Recall. Two college teammates combining. Straight up in the air. Haley tracking it. Keeps it alive for Garay. Jeremy Garay. Michael Rempel. Garay. Making his 5th start, 10th appearance tonight for Fort Wayne. Rempel. Good ball in. Uncertain, the keeper made the save anyway, JT Arms. Started off his line, retreated. Gafar got to it. Arms kept it out. Here in the end of the first half, 5 to play. Contact there, it goes Madison's way. Foul against Kabiru Gafar.
The frustration continues for players, but it is the initial contact here that gets Gafar into trouble. He then pops himself in front of Ngubu. The difference is he had already created the contact overall.
Gafar for Healy. Finds a Woodor. Has a ton of space in this area. Feeds it along. Recall in behind. Recall waited a heartbeat too long. Allowed the recovery and out for a corner.
That half second, really well done by Mark Segbers to recognize the hesitation and then go full Mingo. If you strike this just a tad bit sooner, you've pulled one back. I mean, this is right there. Near post, far post, really pick your poison for Lilian Recall. And instead, second-guessing himself, allowing the defender to get back in front.
My mistake, it looked...
I thought he touched it.
Same.
Yeah.
Just a complete shank in the end from Recall. Good eyes by the officials. Into the call right there. It's our first good look in transition of Udor and Recall combining. Recall last year had 13 goals and 4 assists at UCF. Udor 7 goals, 15 assists. Gubu, wearing number 11 for Madison, was the third man of that UCF trio last year. He had 4 goals and 6 assists of his own. He saw that combination a number of times. Gafar, heavy touch, takes him to the end line, cuts it back, McCammy's there. Out for a corner this time.
What's really impressive defensively from forward Madison on these recoveries is it's not a one-off. There are some isolated 1v1 scenarios that get them down to the byline, but the support that they have behind is what is prohibiting Fort Wayne from finding real quality opportunities. And everything that we've seen 15, 20 yards out. The good news for the visitors, it's been consistent. The bad news is the overall percentage is much too low. That's just about more numbers, varying your runs, and really challenging the shape of forward Madison. Haven't done that yet.
Every corner has been just like this. No breathing room for JT Harms. Goalkeeper in pink trying to find his way through the traffic. I'd like to see a jump ball on the basketball court between those two. Gubu and Solis. There's not much separating them. Solis every bit of 6'8". Gubu listed at 6'7". Be here a while if we're gonna try to keep the peace ahead of this corner. Arms claiming he was hit by somebody. That's why he was kneeling down by the post. Right back to the jostling. Oftentimes this leads to a whistle before the ball even gets there for a foul. See if that's the case. And there's a whistle before the ball's even kicked. Rico. Did he get an elbow up? J.C. Griggs was right there. He's going to call Rico over. And he's going to show me yellow. This genuinely might be the longest time I've ever seen before a corner's taken. The piece being kept and then a yellow to still be shown with the corner not being taken yet.
The good news is the dressing rooms are right around the corner. The bad news is the referee continues to let the players police themselves. Maybe that angle, some theatrics being presented. Still contact though in the moment.
Still contact in the moment, and with J.C. Griggs standing right there, standing over it, trying to get this corner to a point where it could finally be taken. Maybe that was his way of finally saying enough is enough. Mark Segbers trying to get under the skin of Recall. Showing, he elbowed him. I think he got him in the face, but veteran captain trying to egg on the first-year pro. Still going. For now, it'll be 4 minutes of stoppage time. See how long we play, we'll see when that 4-minute clock actually begins. There's no history between these teams. First ever meeting between Madison and Fort Wayne. Madison, a league original going back to 2019. Fort Wayne in their inaugural season. You quickly make history when you're in a tough playoff race and separated by just 1 point at the playoff line. A game that has been very intense. We'll the corner be taken this time? And will, and after all that, they go short. Healy was much ado about nothing in the end. Not the best service from Udor. I think we took about 2.5, 3 minutes there, saw a yellow card, and then there wasn't a second touch of the ball.
It's a quality ball on the end of it. It was worth the wait for me. Certainly one that'll be talked about when the showers turn on.
Udor turning on Bulma, battling those two. They have been all night. Udor wins this battle. Advantage played, feeds it through. J.C. Griggs might bring it back. The advantage never quite materialized, but he says play on now. Carmichael. Diaz. One defender flies by. Thiago Diaz on his birthday. The center back going for it. Saved by JT Harms. Stays in play. Offside flag comes up on Rempel. You're a center back. You have space. You take it. It's your birthday. The stars were aligning for Diaz to have a hit and nearly pulled it off.
And why not? No one's willing to step up in. Thiago Diaz sits up nicely. Right off the deck, strikes it true. And from that distance, so difficult for a goalkeeper. The amount of pace that's going to be behind it. How clean the ball striker gets it and the movement that's going to follow. I tell you, as you head into the dressing room right now, yes, forward Madison have had the better opportunities. Should probably be 3-0. Although Matt Glazer's not on the sideline, the conversation there is going to be about being more clinical in the final third and taking advantage of your opportunities. If you're Fort Wayne, well, that's a great strike from distance. That's all you've seen in this first half.
Gubo nearly found a way through.
Your chances shouldn't be 25 yards out. If you want to open this game up, you need to be quicker off the ball in rotation and more athletic towards that match. Otherwise, you need ball carriers, and it screams of a Javi Armas coming into this match to help out within the midfield.
11 shots, only 2 on target for Fort Wayne. On their 11 shots, 5 of them inside the box, 6 outside the box. You're not getting to the dangerous areas. Udor for a corner. Be the final play of this first half. Udor stands over it. Clarence Udor, back post, header off the bar, did it go in? Saved! Somehow stayed out. Harms got a piece of it.
That's a beautiful header by the captain on his birthday. Thiago Diaz, the ability to redirect back across his body. He's got 2 defenders in front of him, utilizing the momentum to his benefit. JT Harms can't see it because of all the traffic in front. If anything, a bit of confidence restored to Fort Wayne at halftime.
Very nearly an equalizer before halftime. Joshua Bulma the goal in the first half to give forward Madison the lead. They're down a head coach. Mike Glazer picked up a red card very early on, but they're up a goal courtesy of Bulma. Entertaining half between these two. It's what we expected with the contrasting styles, back and forth affair. First half that saw 17 shots between these teams. Just the 1 goal. Madison 1, Fort Wayne nothing. They look around USL when we return here on ESPN2.
Madison area communities. Just starting your career in the electrifying industry? Since starting your journey to electrician and $40 an hour, paid health insurance, and a pension. Check out the electricgroup.net for more information. Electric Group, proud sponsor of Forward Madison FC.
I spent the whole of halftime wondering how I might get my hands on one of the new hats or scarves dropped for this new dairy line for Forward Madison. They've spent the whole halftime enjoying their lead. Fort Wayne has spent it trying to find a way back, and we're going to tell you how to spend your upcoming slate on ESPN. USL has plenty to offer coming up in different competitions as well, under the championship umbrella, under the League One umbrella, and in Brinks Tire's USL Cup. I'll go to the last one first. I'll work back to front. August 1st, it's a ways away. Circle it. Tampa Bay, Louisville. We've already seen them meet once this year. One of the best rivalries USL Championship has to offer. You got Brinks Tires Cup action in there. July 11th, San Antonio, Chattanooga, USL Championship side against the USL League One side. Next week, first place San Antonio take on Colorado Springs Switchbacks, the champions of 2 years ago. But before that, this Saturday, 5 Eastern, ESPN2, Detroit City FC and Louisville City.
Unfamiliar territory for Detroit City in the best of ways, sitting second in the Eastern Conference, a team that has real depth within their grouping under Danny Dicchio. They like the ball at their feet. They're starting to throw numbers coming forward, and they've got a striker in top form, Darren Smith, who's coming off of a league-high 5 goals. For the record, the last time we had that, 2013. I want to see separation now from Detroit City. 14 of 18 games decided by 1 goal or less. If you're Louisville, bad news. You've been shut out 3 times this season. Good news, you've only been shut out 3 times this season. Defensively, time to batten down the hatches and get back to basics.
And those two teams do not like each other very much either. Should be a fun one this Saturday. This one's been fun, end-to-end action, plenty of chances. A couple of posts hit. Forward Madison 1, Fort Wayne nothing. I'll look back at highlights from the first half when we return. The rains came and delayed us tonight, but did not put a damper on the happenings. Entertaining back and forth first half between Forward Madison and Fort Wayne, a 1-0 lead for the home side. Welcome you back inside of our booth alongside the ex-German pro Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. Sometimes we're wrong, sometimes we're right. Coming into tonight, we said this should be fun, it should be open. There's about 17 shots, only one goal, but it's the action we expected.
I would add the term interesting if we threw in some of the referees' decisions, and we'll get there in a second. I do praise Forward Madison for what their head coach calls adaptability, because they started very tough defensively, and then as the game opened themselves up, they exerted dominance. But let's start where defensively they had to dig in, and it was about Fort Wayne. Now, the identity of this team within the first half was about these late trailing runs. The good news was it started early and it came off the woodwork. The bad news was the majority of their chances came from a distance. Now, the best that you're going to see this Forward Madison team is in open areas of transition. This was a red card. The problem was a red card was not issued. Head coach Matt Glazer continued to argue, earned himself a yellow, barked a little bit louder, earned himself an early shower, a second yellow, got sent his marching orders, and oh, by the way, sent a souvenir into the stands. So instead of Fort Wayne going down to 10, instead Forward Madison loses their leader, but not their identity. When they start to become more expansive in play, you still have to commit numbers forward, and you have to vary your runs. I love the depth that you get out of Forward Madison here, because as Carmichael starts to move to the byline, not only is he getting himself forward facing, he's dragging the overall space, changing the defensive dynamic of Fort Wayne and allowing the supporting run of Boma to step right through the heart of the back line and create the opening goal for Forward Madison.
My second biggest takeaway from that first half of highlights is I hope the guys don't let up on Matt Glazer for that shambolic effort to get the ball across the field.
He's a goalkeeper, so you got to remember that. Listen, good half for Forward Madison. They were the better team. But if you're Mike Avery, you're going to walk into that dressing room and say, hey, we had some chances. Now, defensively, who can be one step quicker? Who's willing to throw some weight around? They're looking for balance within their performance right now. That's what they lacked in the first half.
First half had the entertainment we expected. It had just the one goal. What does half number 2 have in store? It's Forward Madison 1, Fort Wayne nothing. First ever meeting between these teams. In the live table, Forward Madison leapfrog Fort Wayne into a playoff spot. More to come from Bree Stevens Field. Our travel map is brought to you by Best Western. Joshua Bolma has been all over the place for forward Madison.
I think the best thing about Bolma is his ability to face the game. If you want to see the aggression from the midfielder who is willing to step to the outside, play in transition, you have to allow him to attack the game instead of chasing it. 16 total passes in the first half in different locations on the field, 10 of which were vertical, forward-facing, and progressing his team going forward. That's how you get the best out of Josh Bolma.
The most important of the red dots was the one all the way off to the right at the edge of the 6. It's where he had his touch on the lone goal of the first half. 28th minute on the assist from Ryan Carmichael. 1-0 lead for forward Madison, right to left in their cow kits. Fort Wayne from left to right in their amber kits. I love saying cow kits. I genuinely think this might be one of the best additions under the USL umbrella, kit-wise, this year. And away we go. Oh, no. Let's try again.
Well, sometimes the way you express yourself on air is quite moving. No points for that one.
I would say legendary, actually. After the full start from Fort Wayne, away we go in this second half. Yellow cards to remember from the first half. Carfala Torre, forward Madison, Leon Ricol, Fort Wayne. Rumpel. Garay didn't call Garay's name a ton in that first half. Sometimes that's by design. And the defensive midfield for Fort Wayne has his quick touches, sets the tempo, but do oftentimes feel like he appears more often than not. Here he is. Petcher. Diash came up and had a hit right before the end of the first half. Close down on him, they do. Healy. Bree Stevens Field in Madison, Wisconsin. Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Glad to have you with us on ESPN2. USL League One action on this Wednesday evening, week 16 of the season. Forward Madison started the night just below the playoff line. The live table, they move all the way up to 6th. Diash. I don't think Madison have gotten a touch on it yet in this second half. Gafar. McCamey breaks it up. Up for a long throw. Michael Rempel comes all the way across the field. Haley shows as a short option. Can they get the flick on they desire? No, Solis got under it. Back out to Rempel anyway and blocked. Shot for a handball as Gebhard turned his body. Assistant referee right on it says no, just another throw for Fort Wayne. Rempel again looking for Solis, the 6'8" center back. Didn't find him this time either. Gebhard clears. Shipman hasn't had a lot to do. JP Jordan. Maybe just the nature of the game tonight. JP Jordan hasn't really joined the attack much for Fort Wayne. Player who came in, terrific defensive abilities on that back line that Mike Avery was aware of. He said he surprised him though this year with his ability to get forward and help the attack from that right back position. Haven't seen it tonight. Maybe more of it in the second half.
I discussed tactically how that looked for forward Madison the first half because of the release of Kenyane and the willingness of Colin McCamey to come off that back line. So it's forced the right flank for Fort Wayne to stay a little bit deeper. It's also allowed on the left to pinch a little bit, to be more aggressive. What I'd like to see here is still on the inside, more discipline. Play Take Healy more in a 10 role to start the second half. Allow him to be the creator instead. Jimmy Garay and Ryan Betcher working off of each other. Eliminate some of these pocket threats that have been forward Madison in transition, create more control on the ball, and more importantly, you then create your own tempo. They chase the game far too often in the first half.
Diaz. On the turn, Betcher, a fistful of jersey. Healy flipping it down. I recall, couldn't do anything with it, and McCamey can clear. McCamey, big burly center back striding forward. Gebhard. McCamey. Boma, pocket of space, feeds it through. Carmichael. Navigating after Solis forced him away. Roman Torres. Mark Segbers. Movement for Madison. 5 minutes into the second half. Their first foray forward. Segbers to Torres. On Torres for Claudel Ngubu. Beyond Boma. It's McCamey. Kanyane for Gebhard. Put him in a tough spot. Torres flips it in behind. Flag stays down. Back to goal. Ngubu trying to find a way. Contact there is Boma.
As much as we talking about the game being transitional for forward Madison, really impressive spell on the ball. Deep lying from Roman Torres, and the back line, as it starts to be more aggressive, it also flattens itself out. Great recognition by Boma. Diagonal up over the back shoulder. His form faltering at the end. Leaning back instead of through. But I love the threat. Direct up over the top.
As the game's only goal, Joshua Boma nearly had it second. Here he is again. McCamey. Ngubu.
He's been a real problem for Fort Wayne. McCamey coming off the back line. There's hesitation from Gafar as to whether or not he's supposed to pinch up or follow.
About that ball from Udor.
And when he doesn't, because the midfield is having trouble with the attackers that are already coming through, Betcher and Healy aren't there. JP Jordan already has his one-on-one matchup deep lying, and so if you beat that initial line of confrontation, McCamey has the ability to control what's in front. That's where I talk about defensively for Fort Wayne, just dropping a little bit. Again, notice how they're still willing to, you know, step 30, 40 yards in front of that center line. If you bring your line 20 yards back to just about the center circle, force forward Madison possessionally to try and beat you. It's not one of their strong suits. They're showing you that they want to play with pace and in behind. And at times, yes, they can control with the ball at their feet, but they want the game open like this.
Boma thrives in these moments. Feeds it through. Gebhard still keeps it alive. Gebhard cuts in. Gebhard and a swipe at it. Shipman easy to corral it. So interesting hearing you say that they don't want it. It's a possession-based game for Madison because that was their calling card for so many years.
Yeah.
Complete 180 this season.
Well, that's the thing about it, right, is you move towards a new goal, but that identity does come from somewhere. It's not like this team has been terrible. We're just 2 years removed from finishing third in League One, loss in a semifinal, loss in a
Final in USL Cup.
USL Cup final, thank you very much. So you're just tweaking as you go along, and sure, it's more direct in nature this year, but you still have the ability to control at times. You also don't want to be one-dimensional. You don't want to show up and say, this is how we're going to play, and, you know, teams will immediately know how to counteract that.
Usually a change like that comes with a changing of the guard at the head coach as well, but it's still Matt Glazer here, who's the now tied longest tenured coach in USL League One. Shows a lot of his character and his view of the game. 2 shifts. You don't always have coaches who are willing to do so. Some coaches very rigid in that way. It's their way or it's no way. A younger team He's adapted his coaching style, has adapted his view of the game. Although again, right now, it's not Matt Glazer giving out the orders from the sideline. Patrick Niarco, who's stepping in after Matt Glazer's first half red card.
Agree with you on Glazer, but also the understanding that sporting director Matt Cairns was hired in the offseason and the direction within the front office has changed. So if you're Glazer, now you can focus, and he self-admitted this, I can focus more on the field and how we're going to attack the offseason, the transfer market, any staff hires. Matt Cairns can provide that direction. So again, the identity tweaks. The good news is they are working hand in hand, and although tactically things look different, you still keep part of your original soul, if you will. You're just sprinkling in some more cows, right? You gotta change the flavor of milk.
And 3 more of them are about to come on here. Wholesale changes, not whole milk changes, coming from forward Madison. Eddie Manjoma, Stephen Anor, and Jackson Castro, the trio coming on. Day will be done for Mark Segbers, as well as Derek Gebhard. And the last, Claudel Ngubu.
And on for number 8, Mark Segbers, number 23, Eddie Manjoma. And on for number 17, number 16, Jackson Castro.
From the free kick, finds Diash on the backside of the box. I don't know if you can see those changes, rather on set pieces, 3 changes. They hold strong defensively anyway. Now can break out Madison. Settles looking through. It's Carmichael chipping, saved. Rebound finds Bulma. Joshua Bulma deflected and saved by Shipman. Stuck with it, parried it over the bar.
We'll talk about the tactical adjustments that forward Madison will make within their ranks, but as numbers are up high, this is all about the goalkeeper and Bert Shipman. His reaction in the moment. All of those numbers accounting from where the threats are going to come from. Tight knit on the first one, second one, tough angle, ton of pace. And both times able to parry aside. Beautiful display of goalkeeping.
4 clean sheets this season. Fans here familiar with Bert Shipman. 90 starts, 32 clean sheets as Madison's primary goalkeeper the last 3 years. Corner swerved in. Cami rose to meet it. How to play.
And now let's get into those changes on the subs by forward Madison. Castro will play more shoulder to shoulder with Roman Torres in the midfield. Ryan Carmichael will work a little bit more outside in on that front line as Stephen Anor will go back into more of that prototypical 9 position. And now you want to watch Josh Bulma, where defensively his responsibilities aren't going to be as direct in nature. He should be given more space to float within, but that wandering eye can also get you into trouble. So making sure you have communication with the 2 pivots behind you in the midfield, very important for forward Madison going forward.
Stephen Anor packs a punch coming in off the bench for forward Madison. It's his first time coming into a game as a sub this year. Before that, 10 appearances, all starts, has 4 goals and 1 assist. First half, we talked about Bulma and Healy and Garay and these players that were cast-offs in their situations, finding second life. Only 23 years of age still, Stephen Anor, former standout collegiately at Virginia, first team All-ACC and freshman of the year in 2023. Number 26 overall pick in the 2024 draft by Houston. Never truly clicked in the Dynamo organization. And now, here with Forward Madison to a good start this season.
4th win substitution in the 59th minute. On for number 8, Jeremy Garay.
Jeremy Garay's night ends. Javier Armas takes his spot. It's the sub you were calling for going into halftime, Devin.
I thought maybe head coach Mike Avery would do this at halftime to create some control initially, but give him credit to allow his players out and to account for their sins in the first half.
The deflection, hit home! Broken play, Madison asleep at the back. Betcher makes them pay, 1-1.
Forward Madison just not locked in whatsoever onto this quick set piece on the near touchline. It's their bread and butter normally on the attacking, and instead, way too slow in recognition. Javier Harmas, smart, understands that he's got bodies on the back post, and all this ball is trying to accomplish is just opportunity. Put it up into a danger area, let one of your players rotate underneath, and go be brave. Exactly what Ryan Betcher does. Cutting it back across, cutting into that lead and getting it back to even.
Second goal of the season for Betcher. Wind at the sails for Fort Wayne now. Can they capitalize on this moment? Rempole feeding it through, just beyond the reach. Gaffar.
Now let's go back to the change that does bring Javier Harmas into the midfield for Fort Wayne. You have to understand that for this player coming out of Oregon State, he's really smart on the ball. Clean decision-making, knows exactly when to take chances, can ping a long ball. But his understanding of such a wide variety of positions and what their tendencies are is why he is the most important player for Fort Wayne. Working his way back from injury sustained in the Boise game. Just the utter control and efficiency within the midfield that allows them to have success. So important to this team.
I was wondering how the official scoring would go down, if Harmas would get credit with an assist there for creating that play after that massive deflection. He did not. It's an unassisted goal for Betcher, but still.
Go tell him that.
About a half an hour remaining. I'm sure it won't be the last time that Harmas makes a bid for an assist. Well, he pulls the strings from the midfield. Here he is again.
He needs to hold the left center back spot down for Oregon State Beavers at the Division I level for a couple of years, both under former USL Championship head coach Terry Boston and Greg Dalby.
It's Carmichael trying to restore the lead for forward Madison. Cuts in, has it go. Saved by Shipman.
That's how quick this team can strike, though, Fort Wayne. Hasn't been a great performance overall on the evening. They've struggled defensively. Certainly haven't been able to maintain as much possession as they would like, certainly in advanced areas, but he hit the hour mark, regained some momentum back in the game, and all of a sudden, a second life.
2 goals now in this game, 24 combined shots, 9 on target. Going to form as we expected, with the chances, the opportunities, the end-to-end nature of it. And we still have 28 plus stoppage to go.
Yeah, don't be surprised now if Mike Avery doesn't go back to his bench in the next 5 minutes or so. Oh yeah, Tunde, Jaden Smith, the ability to, and even Jack Thomas, to get fresh legs on the outside. That's where they need a leg up right now. Bit too slow in rotation from Udor and Gaffar.
Carmichael chopped down. Awkward tackle put in from Solis.
The first step was brilliant by Carmichael. It is in from behind. Can't get away with that anymore, trust me.
Although tonight, maybe you
probably could
get away with it the way the game has been called at times.
That's fair. And a nice match so far. Ryan Carmichael on the front line for forward Madison. It's wide open on the near post.
Torres feeds it in. Carmichael has it across. Still loose. Shipman punches. He's fouled. Evan Carmichael was in the middle of all that.
It's amazing on the scout coming in for forward Madison. As much as we've talked about how expansive in play they've become, that's in the open run of play, their ability to retain striking distance within the playoff conversation is about dead ball situations, how clean they've been from it. And I'd make the argument it's 9 of 18, given the fact that that was actually a goal kick and a nice flick on their opener within this match. Puts them right around 50% on the 8 of 18 mark. That leads USL League One by a wide margin. And it's good rotation off the ball, quality service. A second and third chance that they pull out of it, why they're able to produce so many results.
Betcher blocked. Haley goes for goal. Woodor, excuse me. He hasn't been shy, stepping up and creating moments of Woodor. It's the first time, though, that he's called his own number and gone for goal from distance. Maybe that pulls that back line closer next time. Allows him to feed a ball through. That's his bread and butter. Assist king at UCF last year. Final third entry is just about even. Shots are just about even, 13-12 Fort Wayne's way. Score is even at 1-1. Madison preparing another change. It'll be their fourth. It's Bibi Karamoko who's getting set to check in. Told that Karamoko will be coming on for Joshua Bolma. Recall's turn, chopped down from behind. Another free kick coming in a dangerous area for Fort Wayne.
How's it not a card? Yeah, that's what this is the issue as a player here is, yes, you want consistency from a referee, but there's one thing that is going to be consistent no matter what, and it's a challenge in from behind. If you tighten the game up, if you let players play a little bit more, this is always going to be, from behind, attacking nature, a yellow card issued on the infraction. It's no different than the lack of red pulled in the first half. And that's where the frustration starts to boil over. As a referee, you lose control of the game because players start policing themselves.
Bolma departs, Karamoko takes his place. Almost goal in the 28th minute, gave Madison the lead. It lasted for 31 minutes before Ryan Betcher tied it. And now the visitors have a chance to take a lead. Backing him up a bit more.
And through all of this, this is the argument that we're getting. And there's no doubt in my mind that that's over 10 yards. And I don't even have my binoculars.
Certainly occupied, J.C. Griggs right now. Battle going on at the back of the box. They're asking the assistant referee if they saw a punch from somebody in the mix. J.C. Griggs is asking his assistant referee if a punch or a swipe was seen. No VAR, so it's just whatever they saw. He's calling somebody over.
You and I are privy to some angles of this before it being shown on air. And from what we've seen so far, this should just be about separating brothers, okay? I've had enough of your untidy nature.
And that's what it is, no cards.
There's not enough contact behind the scenes in the replays that we've been shown. Right there, middle of your screen. No thank you. No sleepovers tonight, get your own pillow.
He swiped at him, but it wasn't necessarily a punch. It's a get off me type of swipe. After all that, the free kick for Fort Wayne. It's a go-at goal, it's ambitious from there. Kevin Carmichael. power in this game has shifted to Fort Wayne after they took their opportunity on the tying goal. Wider margin of possession going.
What a ball that is.
Now a chance, but it's read by Arms.
I mean, Javier Armas is just unreal, man. He is a magician with the ball at his feet.
See why they were happy to get him back here this evening. Had been injured. They knew he'd be in the 18 tonight. They weren't sure. Would wait till game day, how he warmed up, how much they would want to push it, how much time they'd give him coming on. Instant impact. Doesn't get credit with the assist on the goal because it took a deflection on the cross. He deserved one and has continued to create since then.
You sit at home and watch this maestro go to work. The Spaniard, it looks like a guy just hitting the ball 50 yards, right? The exact opposite. He's moving away from a defender. He's got to take a touch negative that continues that progress, then drop his shoulder, come back across the body, create not only enough tempo striking through the ball to get it down, but also put a little bit of movement on it to move it away from the defender, all in a split second. That is the greatness of a midfielder who sees the game for all of its worth. And he's so efficient in his actions.
The direct quote from head coach Mike Avery, elite level passer. In 3 words, I think that sums up what you just said.
Well, now he's just taking my job, so. Can't tell Picasso no brush.
From out wide, crashing was Manjoma, didn't get there in time. It's under 20 remaining. Madison trying to find the game again. There was a brief spell around minute 65 where they put together some possession in the attacking end, almost created something, and then Fort Wayne restored the control they gained after they scored the tying goal. Is that kept in play? No, and maybe for the better for Fort Wayne. Shipman tried to save it, tried to avoid conceding the corner, almost conceded a goal instead, but it was out of play.
And nearly creates chaos. Just let this thing go out. Nice bit of skill. Burnt Shipman.
Goalkeepers, center backs, always wanting to do something more skillful, prove that they could do it. Corner whipped in with pace. Foul. Middle of the box against forward Madison. Negates any opportunity for Ryan Carmichael. Favorable bounce for Madison. Pick back up the other way though. Fort Wayne. Zarmas brought down. Carmichael through. Almost got it back. Too much weight on the pass. McCamey. Gagnane overlap. Left it long. Out for a throw. Torres takes charge of this throw. Gathering all 4 Madison players right at the edge of the 6. That's the target here for Torres, looking for that flick on. To the area, McCamey crashing.
Nice tackle.
Volley. Good defending overall from Fort Wayne. Not allowing any looks at goal amid all the traffic. Mike Avery just beckoned a few players over from the warm-up area. Free kick coming out for Fort Wayne. This game has been very physical for two teams who have never played each other before. No history, but there will be moving forward. That's for sure.
And again, another one where studs up, at least what felt like the bottom portion of the boot brandished towards the midfielder from Fort Wayne, and Stephen Honor gesturing that no, that wasn't the case. Another one that could have easily been a yellow card.
He's been in the mix on 2 of those since subbing on Stephen Honor. Quiet half from Tate Healy. Center picture wearing 11 for Fort Wayne, their leading scorer with 6 goals.
And the reason being you've got more control down underneath, and so now he's just the single entity who has to be the chance creator, which we asked for. The game has benefited Fort Wayne in that sense. The problem is space, much more limited to Tate Healy now. So as the opportunities start to diminish, he just has to find that one seam. I want to see him more in a crossing pattern where he's not just standing in a 10. He's starting to work in those off-center directions, challenging back to the inside, driving instead of playing back to goal.
Armas pops to the left side. Udor. So much more control in the second half for Fort Wayne. In the second half, they've had about 60% of the ball. On the turn, Betcher, dispossessed by McCamey, fed through. Space for Gaffar, whips it back post, nobody crashing. All the way across, cut back. Madison can break out. Manjoma leading the line. Manjoma, through. Curl to the back post, Honor keeps it in play, couldn't get it on goal. Fumbled it, tried to pick the pocket there. At the end of that, not legally so from Honor.
I don't know what the argument is here from the referee. Bernd Shipman lose this ball on his own.
They did hit on the backswing.
It hits him.
Clipped by Honor. You'll see it here. Watch on the backswing right there. Honor clips him.
I'd make the argument that the goalkeeper extends his arm on his own instead of the player impeding his own space. It's not as if Honor stepped into him. Either way, still 1-1.
Still 1-1. Still 13 minutes, and now 2 changes for Mike Avery as Betcher departs with the equalizing goal. Daniel Oyatunde takes his spot. The Arsenal Academy product, 19-year-old, 28 appearances, 4 goals, 3 assists in his time with the Arsenal U18s. And Emerson Nieto comes on as well. Places Clarence Udor.
And more control on the inside, fresh legs on the perimeter. Really nice flow for this Fort Wayne team over the last 10 minutes that possessionally has really start to see them shapeshift against forward Madison. Also, there's tired legs on the opposite end for the Mingos. And a bit surprised that we haven't seen a final change on the outside. I talked at the beginning of the second half about becoming one-dimensional for forward Madison, how as you tweak your identity, you still retain some of that initial presence of being able to control on the ball. Well, they've gotten away from that. And a lot of it now is about chasing off the ball defensively. They're overexerting themselves, and fatigue is starting to set in. And at times, moments like this, stepping on it, just calming the game, regain some of your overall shape. Much too scattered in nature.
The question then becomes, do they have the personnel in their current iteration to play like that, to play like they used to play in years past, or has the personnel shifted so much so that they have to be one-dimensional, they have to play that way?
Oh, they have the ability to do it. I'm not asking them to win the possession battle 56-44. Math checks out, by the way. Thank you. This can still be mid to low 30s. It's just about 90 seconds here, 40 seconds there, just cutting some of the momentum out of the game and also allowing yourself to get a rest. You have the ball, other team has to do the work.
Recall. Kabiru Ghaffar. And nobody to go to. It's Recall. He'd usually turn and find, but he was behind the plate. Nieto. Armas wide. Michael Rempel. JC Griggs goes to the pocket. Yellow for JP Jordan.
Give credit on the work rate, though. Listen, JP Jordan hasn't been high in the attack that he would like to be, but his flexibility as a player within this system for Fort Wayne, those pockets of space centrally as a holding midfielder, all too familiar for Jordan, even with the infraction.
Turf after the challenge. Still just 3 yellow cards overall. Recall and Jordan for Fort Wayne. Falatore for forward Madison.
That's a tough angle to see if the arm extends into Ghaffar.
Those two were far too friendly after that play, I think, for him to have gotten hit with an elbow.
I think you're putting that politely.
Healy wanted to go quickly, but the ball just bounded away from him. Now he doesn't want to take the throw. He wants the ball. Gives it up for Jordan. Taken away easily by Fort Wayne. Back for a foul. That might be the receipt. It was Kanyane who was laid out by Ghaffar, and the yellow shown right in front of the Madison bench.
It's more about his body impeding the path than actual contact overall. The follow through here is what gets Kabiru Ghaffar in trouble. He's coming from that restricted position. As he starts to slide back across, he gets in front, but it's the follow through on Kenyani, which is why the yellow is pulled. It's just tired legs. 10 minutes in, he gets to it, no doubt about that.
Stays down, up over the top. Kanyane centers, almost scored it through for Anwar. Sitting on 4 goals in 10 games, Anwar. Now Ghaffar releasing through, he's pulled down by McCamey, advantage played. Tig Haley with it. Ghaffar and McCamey are still on the turf. Back through, Haley settles. Armas searching. Armas. Ghaffar finally back into the mix. Deflected, it'll stay in. Comes that off of last. Decision for the referees. Corner given, and a card will be given as well.
I'm curious to see what he does here, the referee, with this card, because McCamey, the center back, although he goes down with Ghaffar, I actually thought that was Roman Torres who pulls the player down that then collides with his own defender. And in fact, it will be Roman Torres. Watch the left side of your screen, pulls the player in from behind. Yep. Oh, and McCammy's really fortunate that he doesn't go down even worse here for the wear. Now the attacker, when he drops down in, oh, could have been terrible for the knee. He himself has actually picked up a little knockdown.
Still down. His counterpart, number 12, Kabir Ghaffar, is subbed off. This is Juan Solis. James Musa into the match. Elder statesman on the Fort Wayne roster, the veteran 34-year-old from England. Goes back in the USL sphere to 2016 with St. Louis. Stops along the way in MLS, abroad. Last 2 years at Indy 11 and USL Championship. It's Torres, who's still down, being tended to by the trainer. So it'll be Jaden Smith for Ghaffar and James Musa for Solis. After all that time on the ground, Torres gets up to the gift of a yellow card. Torres' night is done. He's going to be subbed off here. Jalen Shannon will take his place. Final sub used by Madison. He can't even get to the bench. Torres, he just sat down behind the goal along the ad boards.
Yellow card infraction. Forward Madison.
Could be quite a bit of stoppage time in this second half with some of the injuries and breaks in the action that we've seen. 3.5 minutes of the 90 remaining. Lord Madison looking to make it back-to-back wins, coming off their 5-1 rout of Boise. Fort Wayne coming off a 1-1 draw against Westchester. Could be the same result here. Short from the corner. Armas whips it in. A lot of traffic there, punched away. J.T. Harms with strong goalkeeping. On the breakout for Madison. Castro overran it. Impeded cleanly, defensively. Flag stays down, ball runs out of play. Fort Wayne trying to keep this unbeaten regular season run going. Haven't lost in the regular season since March 28th. A lot of ties in there. Hasn't been all wins. This would be a fourth tie in the last 5 regular season games if they hold on. It's out through the middle. Flag stays down. Chance for the home side to go back on top, and the deflection carries it wide. It was Karamoko to the middle.
That's a big-time interjection here from Michael Rempel, all the way from the left-hand side, and recognizes his center back's demolished. And as the space opens up, beautiful angle that he takes. I love the fact here, notice his hips, doesn't jump right away, instead continues moving laterally as the striker comes forward. Makes the window even smaller, pushed it aside.
The corner, McCammy got to it. Yawning goal as Burn Shipman came off his line. McCammy can't believe it. The way the action's picked up since Karamoko has subbed in, we haven't had a chance to talk about him. Just his 4th appearance for Madison here on loan from DC United. Spent the back half of last season on loan to Loudoun in USL Championship from DC. Number 10 overall pick in 2025 out of NC State. Former teammate of Tig Healy on the other side tonight for Fort Wayne back in 2024. The season that put NC State on the map. Those two together combining in the attack. Healy stepping to it on his left foot. Take Healy weaving through, brought down, cleanly won. Anor turns, could be off to the races. Stephen Anor in behind. 1v1, Anor gets it all wrong in the end.
Just sitting at home, this looks quite simplistic in nature. Not the case. A young player still trying to regain full confidence after defensively forward Madison is brilliant. This touch coming right here. He wants it on his right foot, but he's also got two defenders coming at him. That's where you want to stay calm. If you're going to push it there, use it to your advantage. The goalkeeper knows the scout. Push it over, then drag it back across your body. Make him feel uncomfortable, make the route much easier. It's really easy for us to Monday morning cornerback it, but knowing the speed that Anor possesses and the quality inside the top of the 18, we've seen him do that before at other levels.
6 minutes of added time. On a night that has seen a lot. Red card to a head coach about 15 minutes in after a red card that should have been given to Fort Wayne wasn't given. It's seen 31 shots between the two sides, a goal each, a number of scuffles, handful of yellow cards split evenly between the sides. Will it also have a winner in stoppage time? Well, these sides share the spoils this evening, week 16 of the USL League One season. Fort Wayne came into the night with a slim lead in the standings over Madison for that last playoff spot. They'd maintain it with this result. Actually, with the tiebreaker, if you're looking at the live table, this tie would also put Madison into a playoff spot. The tiebreaker over FC Naples, so they would benefit in their own right. Still a long way to go, but you hear coaches talking about the standings now. It's about that time. Based on the calendar at the midpoint of the season, based on games played, not quite there yet. Early season slots went to Open Cup, went to USL Cup. It's all about the regular season from about the first week of July onward. Smith lost it. The ball stayed in play for a moment. Clearance effort from Kanyane, sees it out. Jordan. Diash. Musa. Anor, after that miss, can he make amends? Halfway through stoppage, Armas changed the game after he came on. Rico wants to go from midfield. Frustrated Jaden Smith was, bottom of your screen. He was wide open in space.
Easy, son. Way too many video games on your off days.
Torre. Follow Torre, line-breaking ball through for Anor. Castro left it short, almost. An opportunity to get out in transition for Fort Wayne. 2.5 to play. Both sides might walk away happy with a point. The way tonight has gone. Maybe some missed opportunities they lament, but the draw might be the fair result. And for these two teams, where they are in their seasons, the way they're building, and what they're working towards, the point helps. 3 would be better. Somebody could steal all 3 late. McKemmy. Can you get a service in? Healy. Heavy touch, tired legs, no doubt, at this point from Tig Healy. Does well to recover. Oyetunde. Oyetunde navigating, trips over the ball. J.C. Griggs, referee, right on top of it. Crowd trying to will the Mingos forward. Is there one last golden opportunity? Healy dodging tacklers. Tig Healy to Jaden Smith in space, has options on the ground, smothered by Harms.
That's one of those ones you want that ball cut back to the top of the 18. Numbers favored you, and the war of attrition less likely to get in the way. Well read by the goalkeeper, though.
Last minute of the 6th given. Anor. McKemmy, overlap, Kanyane. McKemmy thought about taking Smith down, slows him up. Smith still. Throw for Madison, 30 seconds to go. Karamoko for Anor. 6 minutes come and gone. How long will J.C. Griggs let them go? Njoma serves the ball in. Caught by Shipman. Final whistle goes. A point each on a goal each this evening for Forward Madison and Fort Wayne. Tonight's Brinks Tires MVP for his efforts mainly in that first half. Ryan Carmichael with the assist on Joshua Bolma's goal. Take it back to that opening goal, how it all went down.
He was the most consistent player on the pitch for either one of these teams. A constant threat up high. I loved what his speed was able to do, because it wasn't just about chasing in open areas. He was able to do it with the ball at his feet, from set pieces, both when he was down in the pocket and in transitional moments. The assist on the opening goal, yes, but the highest of quality that we saw over the course of evening from the striker from Forward Madison.
He is your Brinks Tires MVP of the match this evening. Forward Madison will turn around this weekend and host the New York Cosmos. Fort Wayne will look to keep their unbeaten run going on the road against the Richmond Kickers. We will be on ESPN2 next on Saturday at 5 Eastern as Detroit City takes on Louisville City. Our broadcast partner Devin Kerr and the crew that makes this possible. I'm Joe Malva saying so long for now. A fun night in Madison, where Forward Madison and Fort Wayne take a point each on a goal each. Good night, everybody. Nexus of the whooping flamingo calls on the corners, on the free kicks. That's why you're wearing cow jerseys with a flamingo on it. Carmichael eyeing goal. Carmichael squares it back in front. Joshua, boom up, puts forward Madison on top.
As the identity of this forward Madison group continues to evolve, Matt Glazer, head coach, very clear that it is about flexibility and being able to adapt. But as they open the game up, still being willing to